16 degrees and Lisa Webb's in studio. How were the grandkids yesterday?
Doing good. They're
Georgie
good.
okay?
Yeah.
He's my buddy.
Yeah. Well, they've been going around with the colds and RSV and all of that, and he's the one that's gotten it the worst. So he just can't seem to get it. But they destroyed the house, so they did what they were supposed to. It's like, oh.
Doing what grandkids do best.
I dropped him off at daycare this morning, and I just went, here, and all the little daycare workers started laughing because he has permanent marker here and here and here, and his sister drew a happy face on his leg and permanent marker. I'm like, here, go. So they're back to mom today. So
I just think it's great because Georgie's such a happy-go-lucky kid,
yeah,
and it's just fun.
funny.
Whenever we got to close the house with Georgie, that was an experience.
He was
that
there.
was good.
That's right. Yeah. He was
buddy.
working. He was doing his job.
Well, speaking of, I think we made the right call here. Now, I am going to say I think the water line is a little bit in question. We're going to change that because it was weird. I had my water dripping, doing what you should do, leave the valve open. Mm-hmm. The cold side ran fine on that exterior wall, but the hot water would not come on.
That's something.
Isn't that weird with the faucet being open?
Yeah, I'm not a plumber, but I would have thought the other way.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought, okay, well, we got to fix this. But everything else, Lisa, amazing. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I got to ask you, and I don't know, maybe you know this just from your home owning experience, I got to get this condensation off my window.
Oh,
it's because of that one cold side hidden by that tree, and I'm like, man, I got like a sheet of ice going on over here.
Yeah, the one thing though that you may want to check is you may have a seal broken.
I bet
on the
you're
inside.
Right.
So if there's a seal broken, you're gonna get that because it's not fully sealed.
Yeah.
Your window's still working and it does what it needs to.
Yeah.
But if there's a seal that's broken, then you're gonna get that. Now, I mean, you can replace a pane and redo it. You don't need a new window, but that's probably what's going on there.
Well, it was great. I mean, my house is holding up fine. There's no complaints. Basement's dry, and especially with all the water that's getting ready to thaw and come down. I mean, everything's great and warms up in 2 seconds.
Good.
My heater's only turned on 3 times a day.
Oh, mine hasn't stopped.
That's why I think Ameren was like confused when they sent me my bill because they were like, "Well, it's only $80 this month." But
oh my goodness,
did you
really?
I couldn't believe. I'm telling you, I have like the greatest house.
We're not going.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whoops, we made a mistake.
But you really put.
So are you gas? I can't remember. Are you gas and electric?
Gas and electric.
Yeah.
But that gas is nice. It's a little bit more expensive, but it does the job.
Yeah, our house is small like yours, and it's all electric, and ours doesn't quit. It just goes and goes and goes. It's like,
I seen that you had your first property sale of the year on your Facebook. Where was that one at?
Your Godfrey house.
I kept talking about it. I knew it was going to come. I just thought there's potential there.
Yeah.
And it seems like the group that took it over, that bought it's really going to be doing some good stuff.
So, yeah, they do renovations. So hopefully, they'll, I'm assuming they're flipping. I don't know, but it should be really nice when they're done. So.
Well, and then I saw that the one on Wickenhauser was getting a lot of attention. Did that go under contract yet?
Not yet. We're in multiple offers on Albers and Bethalto. So,
really?
So that one has multiple offers sitting there waiting for them to, the bank to decide.
That's awesome. Well, I'm telling you, there's so much potential in your properties, and that's why I love talking about them because, for so many people, especially in the inflation where we're at in terms of lumber and how much it costs for materials, it's one of those things where these houses are affordable, they're smaller, so you don't have to put in a huge amount of overhead if you want to get started, and it's great properties. I mean, they have so much charm to them.
Yeah, and it's nice because like the one on Wickenhauser and the one on Albers, they're ranch-style houses.
Yeah.
So, it's not a 2-story to where you got to do the bedrooms up and this on the main. They're ranch, so you can renovate. If you don't want to conquer the basement yet, you don't have to. Just leave it as storage or whatnot. But Wickenhauser, it's getting a little bit more attraction. It needs some love done to it. The preservation companies that work for these banks, they're few and far between, and sometimes their work is less than desirable, so
That's
us
fair.
as the agents have to go back and say, well, they didn't do this, we need them to do that. And my husband has his own preservation company, and so he's been doing it for years and years and years, so we know what to look for. And so
does it help a lot having that resource in Grover?
Yeah,
I bet.
absolutely. Because we know what to look for. So then if the asset managers are saying, well, Lisa, they said they did the sales clean. I'm looking at the pictures. I said, well, let me tell you how that happened. And then let me tell you how it really needs to be done, because I know those signs.
Yeah.
I think Grover's done his own preservation for, I don't know, 14 years maybe.
We got to get him in studio and talk about some of the jobs he's been on. We were talking about just being cold. I mean, he was outside yesterday too, going in, and that's a tough thing.
Yeah,
I felt bad for anyone that has to work in any type of outside environment.
We went out on Saturday because Sunday was supposed to be really cold, so we went out on Saturday and did a whole outline. We started off in Brighton, and we went all the way down to Steelville, all the way over to Belleville, all the way to, where else did I go? I went somewhere else, but he had properties he had to go check. I had properties I had to go check. So Saturday we just did that all day and just made this big route, because Sunday was supposed to be really super cold. And then yesterday he did go out and do some for him and for me, because we had grandkids at home. So, it is. It doesn't stop. We still have to go out, and even more so when the weather's bad, because the bank expects us to be eyes on the ground, So if something breaks, like water pipes or whatever, we got to be able to
I didn't even think about that with those properties. So does that fall on you too? Whenever,
like if it's an emergency, then we go ahead and fix it and then invoice and say, hey, this is an emergency fix.
Wow.
But if it's not an emergency, but yet it still needs to be done, then I have to submit a report going, this happened or this happened. We called the police. We didn't call the police, whatever the case is. So it falls on us. We have to manage it. And, that's just...
I never even thought about that, though, in the wintertime, especially with a vacant house with no water running. That's going to happen.
Yeah, we just have to keep an eye on it, and make sure and everything. So, even in the cold, we still have to.
Do you see more foreclosures in the winter months?
Not necessarily. A lot of the times, especially during the holidays, the foreclosure process slows down a bit because the banks usually slow down between certain months right up to Christmas and New Year, and then it starts to pick back up. So I know in December I had back-to-back. I have so many new properties that are coming to the market that are foreclosure. So after the first of the year, it's going to start picking back up. Courts are back in session and things like that. So
back to reality.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's really kind of it's a fantastic way to see the information that you provide too, because you had to start your Facebook all over again.
Yeah, and, that was a mess, and it is. And the one thing that I will share with everybody is do your 2-part authorization.
Yes.
Because my other one was not.
Yep.
So do that, and then a friend of mine, she's a virtual assistant. She
is
sent
that
me,
Gail?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
Gail's good too.
I remember Gail.
Gail's good too. No, this is another friend, but she said on my business pages, make sure somebody else on your business page is an admin, because then if I get blocked out, they're not, and they can at least go in and stop the hackers from coming in. So if you look for me on Facebook, there is a new Facebook page. I do have a new business page. The other 2 business pages are just sitting idle because I don't have access to them.
Right.
But what had happened is somebody did a fraudulent Instagram account, tagged that to my Facebook page. So Facebook suspended my Facebook page and said, go to your Instagram account to fix what you're doing wrong, but it wasn't my Instagram account, so I couldn't get into it, and I just keep emailing them. And
well, the hard part about it is, Lisa, is whenever you start your new account over, because of all the accounts that get hacked with those weird messages, when you send a Facebook message from when you're not friends with somebody, a lot of times they're like, oh, this is a fake account, even though I promise it's the real Lisa.
It is, because when you look at the dates, it's like, oh, they're a member since 2024 or 2023 or whatever it is, and it's like I try to just keep
swimming. You know,
2024 just did not start off well with that aspect of it, because people don't understand when you're a business and you use social media for all of this. It's a big domino effect. So like my listings on my website, they're still not connected to my business page. I can't get it to reconnect with my auto posts. Same thing with some of my other CRM stuff. I don't auto post yet. And so I'm having to go back and redo hours and hours and hours of work on something because somebody just, I don't know what these hackers think whenever they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they got any money or anything like that. So I don't know. So
it's just terrible.
But to the public, if you do a lot on Facebook, make sure you protect your accounts, especially if you're a business, because I don't know how many contacts I've had on Facebook, and I can't remember everybody.
No. And then they're gone. I mean, you just gotta,
it's not like I can go back and look and go, oh, okay, let's add them and them.
Well, what's wild is that happened to me years ago. I had to get a new Facebook, and I had my primary email, my personal one is what I use for everything. So I get emails from my old Facebook notifications. You can't find my page, my old one. It's gone, but I still get the notification.
Oh, no kidding.
And there's people, what the bad part is, being real for a second, there was a cute girl that sent me a message and I got an email about, and it's like, well, I can't just send her a message on this new account because maybe it's weird. I don't know what she even sent me. I could have been an FU. I don't know.
Whoops.
I was on Facebook yesterday and I saw you put out some information on the types of home loans, and also that the grants are starting to becoming affluent again, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did receive some information from a lender partner friend of mine, several other ones as well. But the good thing about 2024 is your grant programs will be starting back up because funding will be available.
Right.
And so she did, and I saved the screenshot because I want to make sure I say it correctly. So she did send me a message, and so this particular lending institution, this is with Heartland Bank, Sue Kress, and she's a friend of mine, and they have, starting now, the $10,000 grant funds are now available for 2024. So this is what they call the Down Payment Plus program.
I didn't do that one.
No, you did not do that one. But with this one here, it does say that the grant funds are now available for 2024 and will remain at $10,000. So if you're looking to buy, if you're a first-time home buyer, or maybe you're not a first-time home buyer, but you still need help with that down payment assistance, then this is an avenue that you can look at and pursue. And myself can sit down with you and go over what you're looking for, what would be the good fit for you, and then we can partner and connect you with a great local lender to help you through those processes and learn more about the programs. I did bring...
There was a loan on there in that sheet that you have with you and you posted on Facebook. That was I had never heard of the loan before. I haven't heard of half of them, I'm going to be honest with you. But there's one, it might have been the Jumbo Plus. There was a weird loan that I had never heard of, but it seemed like it was a catch-all loan in a way. Is that what that is?
So you have, and it cut part of that off. But those are whenever they're used to purchase. Sometimes people do a jumbo loan. A lot of times commercial and business things are jumbo loans.
Okay.
They take on more of a loan. You can lump things together. It's a higher down payment that is required, at least 10% for the most part. Again, I'm not a lender, but that's my disclaimer. But that is it's a private mortgage backed by lenders and investments. So it's not something that is governed by, say, the U.S. Federal Housing Authorization Authority or anything like that. It's a private mortgage. But what I wanted to share is because I think everybody gets the misconception that you have to have 20% down. And I know people talk about that a lot, but it still doesn't resonate with people that you don't have to put 20% down. So what happens if you get a loan and you put 20% down, then that means that on some conventional loans and things like that, your PMI, your mortgage insurance, could go away because you put down 20% of your home value. Now, say you do a conventional loan and you don't put down 20%, you'll have your PMI insurance that you have to pay. So it's a fee, it adds onto your monthly payment.
Right.
And it'll continue to be there until you reach 20% of the value, and then that drops off. So sometimes people, when they're buying a home, they'll have people go, oh, put 20%, so you can get rid of that PMI, so you don't have to pay that extra money. That's true, but not everybody can do that.
Yeah. Well, and I can see that for sure, especially because that's what I thought at first. I'm like, there is no way I'm going to get 20% to put down on a house. And I think you're right. I think 90% of prospective first-time home buyers go, there's no way, let's just rent.
Yeah. So let's look at that a little bit. When you look at your FHA loans, which FHA loans, the minimum credit score is 580. So a lot of times people, will go, well, I can't get a loan because my credit score isn't 700. My credit score is 620 or 680 or somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I can't get a loan. Well, that's not necessarily true. And there is some local lenders that also have some programs that are in-house that they can look at doing somebody with a lower credit score because they're going to look at their portfolio.
Right.
So that's something that can help some of these people that have a lower credit score. But an FHA loan is 580 for your credit score. 3.5% down. Is all you need.
Wow.
You do have to have home buyers with limited credit access. That's best for these people. Home buyers with limited credit access and first-time home buyers. So if you think about it, you don't have a lot of credit, your credit's here at 580, this is a good fit for you because you don't have a lot to go on. You take this 3.5% down and you take and partner that with the Alton Madison County grant or this grant. That 3.5% is going to go away because this grant is going to help cover your down payment.
Right. And it's huge. And I think, honestly, Lisa, I would love for more and more young people that maybe they just found their career job in the area or wherever they're at to really utilize that because they could save, in my opinion, a lot more money if renting's not the best fit for them, but they're doing it because that's what's affordable.
Right.
It might be better to wait 3 or 4 months, maybe just have a small nest egg, just a small one, and then you could go FHA on this with Madison County and do what you did with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's... like my son doesn't have credit, and so what he did, and some people out there that don't have a lot of credit, go to your bank and get a credit card that you pay. So you get a credit card and you say, okay, my credit card's going to be $300. You pay that $300 up front, but it's a credit card still. You go and use it for gas, you go and use it for whatever, you pay that off, and you do that for about 6 months, you're establishing credit.
So another thing, too, that I did, because when I lost the business, my credit score was 480. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
And what I did is, because no one would accept me, like everyone laughed, and it's a hard thing to get back out of the cellar.
Yeah.
I went to Finger Hut, which rejected me at first.
Yeah.
But this Finger Hut is actually it helped me raise my credit score by 200 points.
Oh, I'll be darned.
In about 2 years. And it's, $20 a month purchases, but anyone could be able to try.
No shopaholics, stay away from Finger Hut.
I only got one thing, and I just used that, and I would just pay off little things, and just use it that way. But I went from a 480 to a 690. I just checked yesterday, and I thought, what's happening? You know?
So there's ways out there.
Yeah.
So you sit down with your professional and the realtor, you sit down with your lender, and you discuss where you are, where you need to be, and how to get there. So there's ways to bump your credit up quickly without having to work years and years and years and years.
How embarrassing is it maybe I phrased this wrong, but to me, you have to, it goes back to what you said when you first came on this show, that you have to be honest, especially when you're talking about something like this, because we're going to find out what your credit score is. And I can only imagine how embarrassing it is for an individual that's like, well, I need this house. I gotta sell myself to this agent and this lender, and then we find out you don't have the credit for this. You have a 590 credit score, 610, which is fine, but now
Yeah.
you're kind of feeling a little shameful when you could have just sat down, been honest,
Yeah.
and figured out the steps to really get there.
Absolutely. I had a buyer over the weekend looking at a house, and he was like, well, I'm going through a divorce, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. He goes, that was probably way too much more information than what you needed. I'm like, no, you need to feel free. Tell me those things, because then I need to know. I know what I'm looking at.
Right.
We need to get you a place. You had this divorce going on. It was through. You had another house, so that's going to show up. So a lender's going to need to know. All of this kind of stuff. Can you get a loan with your name on this other house? You're divorced. That's still your name on there. So do you have enough assets and enough income that you can get a loan? So you got to look at those type of things, because
I never thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're married, you bought your house together, you're both on the mortgage, now you're getting a divorce. So can you go buy a house with this other asset still sitting out there? Do you make enough money? Is your credit good enough to do that? Or do we need to look at selling this first? What if you have a spouse that doesn't want to sell,
Right.
an ex-spouse, that's where they're living. Are they buying you out? When is that going to happen? Are you going to be able to use those funds to buy another house? So those are all the things that when you sit down with somebody, know, like, and trust, then you can tell them that, so they know what to expect and what to, go over with the lender, because the lender doesn't know either. And it's better to be upfront instead of giving surprises later, because there's other avenues you can look at and discuss. One of the other loans that's very popular in this area is the USDA loan.
Oh, yeah, you and I talked about that briefly.
Yeah, so the USDA loan, you don't have to put down any down payment, and you do only have to have a 580 credit score with that one. Now, keep in mind, some of these government loans, they have extra fees and things like that people will have to have incorporated in with their payment. But if you don't have the means to put down a large amount of money, or you have a large amount of money for your down payment, but you need to use that in the house, then go this route
100%.
and get it this way. You can still be a homeowner. USDA has some limitations as far as areas, but there's still areas that USDA qualifies, but Thalto is still USDA. People don't really think about that, So it's going to go based on location and population as far as what USDA qualifies for. And again, you have to talk to your real estate professional, because some of the houses may not qualify because of their condition. So that's something else that
Well, and
has
that
to
was
look
with
at.
the grant too in Madison
Yes.
County. There was a couple of extra steps we had to do
Yeah.
to make sure they're okay.
Some of the grants don't care about the condition of the house, like the $10,000
Right.
down payment plus. That doesn't the house condition isn't affected by that. That's the consumer that they're looking at, for that. But when you're looking at FHA, USDA, VA, those are all conditions where the house has to be considered safety and health efficient, and so that we know what to look for.
The VA home loan is a very good home loan. I was whenever I was in St. Louis, this was nuts. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. This guy was a real estate agent, and we did a veteran show, which is about veterans benefits, which is great. The problem was he took a lot of Vicodin, and he would be honest about it on the air and tell people I was giving him that Vicodin. And so we were talking about it, and I kept telling my brother, I'm like, man, John, this guy is talking about this VA home loan, and you could find a beautiful home for nothing.
Yeah.
Initially, of course. And he started looking at it, and he and his family found a beautiful home in East Alton, and he used that VA home loan and loved it. But there's a lot of military around here that I don't think realize that benefit of that.
Yeah, when you get closer to Scott Air Force Base and stuff like that, of course, you see it pop up more often. But a lot of times people don't necessarily think, if they're out of the military, they're still, if they're a veteran, they still can have those resources, So that is out there, and you can do a VA loan. It's not a one-time thing, you know. So you can do that again and again. You just have to follow the guidelines for it and so forth and so on. But there's so many lending opportunities out there. Interest rates are a little bit lower. This morning when I was pulling them up, a 30-year fix looked to be about 6.75.
Oh, dang it!
But it just it fluctuates. It just goes up and down, and it's not uncommon for it to be 7, 8, back down to 6. And again, it's not anything new. We're right back where we were, back from 2016, 2017. Interest rates are all right around that area. We do have an election coming up, so you do want to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That plays a part on
a big part
on our our funds and our inflation and the feds and all of this. So you do have that coming up, and we never know where the market's going to go during election time. It will fluctuate. So it goes back to, it's always a good time to buy, look for a house.
I hate to cut you off, but I have this question about refinancing, because I just had this conversation the other day with somebody. When do you because I know you aren't going to give 100% advice, because there's always a disclaimer that you need to be thorough. Yeah, just again,
I'm not a lender,
but she's Lisa Webb. She's an agent, not a lender. But
I know great lenders.
100%, and that's another thing people don't realize is your network that you have to really help. And we'll talk about that because we have time. It's just. Whenever people are looking at that refinance option, what can you advise them on, years why? Because, it's different for everybody. But if someone's 4 or 5 years into their loan and they're seeing that their interest rates have dropped a percentage point or two.
We had that happen. So people that purchased homes, say back in 2018, 2019, when the interest rates were about where they were now, then, and maybe when they bought back then, their credit wasn't the best, so their interest rates were a little bit higher. So since then, their credit's been improving, and they're not planning on going anywhere. They saw the interest rates drop. They refinance because they have money in the home.
Right.
And so if you're looking to refinance, you're going to stay in your home, and you need to redo your home. You need to add on. You need to save yourself some money. That's a good time to refinance.
Gotcha.
But you have to sit down and you have to analyze, because if you're refinancing, the best thing, in my opinion, and not everybody can do it, if you're going to refinance at a 15-year instead of a 30-year, because you're cutting time off, instead of starting all back over with a 30-year. Do a 15-year refinance if you can. So then that way you're still paying your home off sooner than later. If you can't, then you're refinancing 4 years, 5 years into your loan, you're refinancing at another 30-year loan. Well, you're just basically starting all over.
Yeah.
So usually it's people that's where they're going to stay. They're adding on, they're building, families growing, they're not moving. Or like in the case when the interest rates took their plummet, it just saved people money,
right?
Because they went so low, and we had a lot of people that just didn't, sell their homes. They just refinanced because of the interest rate. So
that's really fascinating.
So now though, if you got to think about it, if you refinance because the interest rates are super low, and you do have to move in 5 years or whatever, there's no guarantee that interest rate is going to be that low that you're locked into. So you do have to take that into consideration.
That's really fascinating. I keep hearing that because, people are talking about, well, the markets are kind of already doing the weird zigzags with the election coming up, and there's already starting to see that. And that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
I have another personal question. Well, not really for me, but for the public. How many times, and I'm sure it's different for every agent, but it seems like there's more and more young people that not necessarily are married, but they get a home together. And I mean, to me, it's one of those things where probably the best thing to do is to make sure this is the avenue we're going to stick to for a while, because I do notice that the same people that get the house together, it's a great idea at the time, but a couple of months later, they hate living with each other, and then we have an issue.
They just have to remember that if they do that, then somebody has to be able to buy somebody out or sell the house. So if you buy a house with somebody and things go south, then you have to keep in mind before you sign to buy that house, what happens?
Yeah.
How are we going to handle this if they have to move or whatever? Again, it goes back to our Life Happened episode.
That was great. That was a
people
fantastic one.
pass away, people have life changes, and if that happens, what are you going to do? So if you have two people that aren't married to where you have the spousal right there, what are you going to do with that home? What's going to happen with it? So just keep that in mind. They can sell it and split the proceeds. Somebody can buy them out.
Right.
However the case is.
Do you ever have that conversation with a young couple yet? Because I feel like that could go one or two different ways,
Yeah.
What are you saying here? We don't look like we're going to be together?
Yeah.
What
But really, honestly, it's no different than having a conversation with a married couple.
Right.
Because things happen,
Right.
So it's like if something happens emergency wise and one of you are out of the picture, what are you going to do?
Right.
So it's all
That's
full
awesome.
circle.
Well, and then another thing you posted on Third Street Realty's brand new Facebook page. Go give it a like and a follow today.
Yes, please do.
And we're going to link it on everything. We're going to get it back up to where it needs to be. I saw something about net worth. And I have a new app called Rocket Money because that damn commercial got me. That thing's on everywhere. I don't know if you've seen it. So I thought, let's try it, and see where I'm at.
Yeah,
and
how's that working out?
Actually, really good. I saved
okay.
money. I found out that I was hemorrhaging my subscriptions, and it was time to
Yeah,
rein
isn't
in.
that what that does?
Yeah.
It sort of sees what's out there
Yeah.
and you can cancel them and all that kind of stuff.
And it lowered one of my bills for Charter, too, which was kind
right.
of funny. But when I was looking, they did a thing on my house, and they said, well, your net worth's around $2,100. And I went, I'm in the black. Here we go. What?
Buying a house is better than buying a car. Because, you buy a car, you pull it off the lot, and
Depreciates
it automatically depreciates. But when you buy a house and the market continues to go the way it goes, it's a very solid investment.
Yeah.
It's your worth is going to go up, and it's going to always be something that it's an asset of yours. You can sell it if you need to get the funds back out of it. More than likely, your value is going to go up than down at this point in life. So, it's just your net worth is especially if you buy a home that needs to have some work done to it, and you can get it at a good price. And when you get it at a good price, right away, you're ahead of the game. If two, once you fix it up, the way the market values are now, homes that are selling for $115, in all reality, if you fix it all up based on comps, it could be a $170 value home. So you're going to have your equity already built into it. Of course, that goes based on where you're at, what it is, comps and all of that. But I see that where, they're getting it at an investment price, and they come in and they do all of these nice renovations. And now, because the market is the way it is, and the homes that have sold with the nicer renovations are at the higher end of the spectrum, so they're ahead of the game with their worth.
Really fascinating. And then getting back to the interest rates and the other material you had brought in today, it's one of those things that nobody can be an expert on this and say, well, it's going to stay at the 6.75 or it's going to keep dropping because, you never know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to kind of check that, and just kind of see where
Believe
it's
it or
going?
not, you can check online every day.
Oh. Well, there you go.
There's so many websites out there. You can go to a bank. I pulled this one. I won't say the name of the bank, but I pulled this one this morning off of a bank's website. Most of the banks will post their interest rates for CDs, for savings accounts. If they do mortgage loans, they'll post the mortgage rates. I mean, you can go to just about anywhere online and get what the current interest rates are.
That's awesome. And,
So just check them. You'll see the little graph going up or down or where things are anticipated to go.
Yeah, well, as far as we are in the game in January, 17 days into it, what do you kind of expect for the spring? Do you think it to be do you see it right now being kind of a calm and mild spring season for the market?
Oh, goodness, I hope not.
Do you see anything, do you see it being a little bit busier this time around?
I think things are already starting to pick up a little bit, especially whenever I'm looking at my properties. They're not the prettiest properties in the world, and they were sitting a little slow when we first listed them, but now that Christmas is done and New Year's is done, people are starting to really get back, investors, and get out there and start looking, because it's the beginning of the year for them. So where's our portfolio funds going to go? It's the beginning of the year. What do we have allocated?
Yeah.
And now with your regular buyers, your first-time home buyers, those type of people, the grants are available, so funds are now coming out. And if you think about it and you think about timing, we're in January. In February, you could be in your new home by spring.
Yeah.
So somebody posted on Facebook earlier today, 54 more days until we see our first 7 p.m. sunset. So if you think about it, a closing is 30 days, 30 to 45. You could be starting spring off in a new home.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so I think, people are starting to get geared up and get ready for what they want to do for 2024.
Absolutely. I'm on Third ST Realty right now, and you got a lot of listings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're ready to sell. The one in South Roxana is going to be a nice home. Is
that my big blue one?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the 1,600 square footer.
Yeah, and that one, when you look at the front, you don't really think about, it's a 5-bedroom house.
Yeah. I thought maybe a 2-bedroom home.
Yeah. No, it's a 5-bedroom, and then it does need a full renovation. But still, it has some really neat woodworking in it.
I'm looking at it now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hold on here. I got new technology here.
Look at there.
Yeah.
Look at you. I love the woodworking in there, and hopefully whoever buys it, they can salvage some of that. It's plaster, so it needs walls, it needs floors, it just needs a whole overhaul and renovation. But it's a 5-bedroom house.
But that's one, just getting back to what you said, I think that's low enough that you could actually profit on that.
Yeah, and if you think about it, an investor could get that and look at maybe doing a duplex type thing, where they can have two rentals out of it. You could do an up and a down even,
So you said the one in Bethalto has multiple offers already?
So the one on Albers, the multiple offers just came over the cold weather, since Saturday. We've had more and more interest in that one. We did do a price reduction on it. When that one was originally listed, it was listed too high. Like I instructed them, it was too high. But we had to come down. And so since it's at 119.9, I do believe, But that's another one. The one on Albers, when you look at it, I had someone comment, when you look at it, you don't think it's as big as it is.
Yes.
But it sits on a full basement that's been partially renovated, so you have quite a bit, and it's 2 lots, so you have the house and then it goes all the way to
that's perfect for a family.
Yeah,
perfect especially for gatherings and everything. Now the one on Wicken House, did you have an offer yet on this one?
No, we have several showings on that one. So that one was full of items, so it's been trashed out. I removed the carpet from that one so we could see the hardwoods underneath, the hardwoods in the living room. Oh,
beautiful hardwood. That can be refinished.
They can be refinished. The living room is the worst. The bedrooms aren't too bad with their hardwoods. So I thought it was better to pull that carpet so people can see what's under there. But it also sits on a full basement, and I just love that you could do this. This is really great.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah.
New addition to Third on Third. I did this on the fly today. This is great.
I love it. It's like, oh my gosh.
We can go another hour.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, this one sits on a full basement, has a fenced-in backyard. It's over there on the by the Milton School area, by what is that, Mavis Coffee.
Yeah, beautiful area.
Yeah,
historic Alton,
I mean, it's really it has some great qualities to it. It's a ranch. And, we really want to get this one.
Oh, look at that clawfoot tub. That bathroom alone sells it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of clawfoot.
You don't like them?
No, but that's okay. It probably should stay there forever because, boy, those things are heavy.
Look at that basement.
I mean, that's the basement, and there's that room in the back. There's 2 rooms back there. That one is finished, could be an office.
Is this the bar area down there?
Yeah, it has a bar area. It has a half bath down there. I mean, it just has so much potential to it.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, it does.
Yeah, so that one, and that's the garage. So we really want to get that one, going on the market and stuff like that. So it just has some great potential.
I'm going to call this as our best segment. We found out a new feature of this show.
I love it, yeah.
Now we're ready. Now we're officially ready to go.
I don't have my Langdon house listed. I'm doing that today.
Oh, I bet that's beautiful.
So I have 1604. Don't quote me on the number. I just know it's on Langdon. And I'm meeting the stager there today. So that the one that's going to be coming up, it is that one.
This one?
Yeah. Don't show the agent that had it listed before.
No, I'm not going to do. It's a beautiful home. Beautiful home.
Yeah. So what's the house number?
You had it right. It was 1604.
Oh, okay, good. I'm so smart.
Oh.
So this one will be listed at $129,900.
It should be.
And I do have a stager that I'm meeting there today. So it's been a while since I staged a property. But this one, it's empty, so we're going to stage it so people can really get the full effect of it. And then I have the professional photographer coming tomorrow. So if you're in the market to list your house and you want to list your house with a professional, we do stage if we need to.
Good.
And we do also do professional photography. Some of my foreclosures I don't, because some of the stagers don't want to put their stuff in some of my foreclosures. But when you're doing a regular traditional house, we really want to make sure our clients get 100%
I'm sold on this house.
value, so that's what we do. So stay tuned. That'll be on the market coming soon, hopefully to do an open house this weekend. So.
I just want to make a note, Lisa. For my next home, I want something just like this house.
It's pretty
beautiful.
neat. It's on the brick road, so it has the brick roads there. And I went there right after Christmas to meet with the owner. I sold her that house.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I sold her the house, and she bought a house in Missouri. She got married, and they moved to Missouri. So she reached back out, and so we're selling. But it's by all the bigger homes, like with Henry and all that. So everybody had all their Christmas stuff on, and it's real close to the park and the coffee and the donut place. So it's just really a neat area. So I'm hoping
That's
that goes
go
really quick. I really do. I think it's going to be priced very easily for a new family to get and have room to grow.
I'm telling you, we got to keep that one in mind just in case in 5 years whenever I sell mine. That's probably going to be where I look to go because I love Langdon. That is such a beautiful
There's a great
area.
house over on Henry. That'd be happy to
I bet. Lisa Webb, this was fun. I enjoyed this.
I liked it.
All the way around. We're ready for the future.
That's right. Welcome 2024.
on 3rd with 3rd Street Realty at 10:06. We went almost an hour. I love it.
Sorry, guys.
You got to get to work.
Yeah.
At 10:06, we'll take a quick break. We aren't going to do news today because you know what? I had so much fun showing these houses. I want to do this every segment.
Hey, I like it.
Is that cool?
Yeah, works for me.
And we'll talk for a little bit like we do, but we'll add this component. But I wanted to make sure we went through all of them because this house won't last for long on Langdon. So get there quick. Make your offer.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to Joe's Market Basket. You have indoor plants?
Oh, okay.
Do you have indoor plants?
I have two, but they're the indoor plants that you normally get at a funeral, and they're whatever they're called that you can't kill them. You know, the one plant I had
peace lily?
Yeah, the one I had since my grandma passed away, and I think that thing's probably 10 years old.
So what's funny is there's a lot of people that keep those peace lilies, and Andy, we talked to yesterday. You're going to hear it for the first time today. Said peace lilies are one of the most beautiful and the easiest house plant to have.
Yeah, they tell me when they need to be watered because they go, ugh. And I'm like, oh, I gotta water it, and then they go, oh, thank you.
I love that. And Andy's going to join us and tell us how to take care of our indoor plants because it's the middle of winter. And plus, if you want to get your vegetables started for March, you can do that now, and he'll give you tips on how to do that. 10:07, a quick break. Lisa Webb, 3rd Street Realty, 3rdstreetrealty.com, and start your journey, no matter what it is, with Lisa Webb today.